All right, whenever you're ready.
What time is it?
What's the time frame? How long is it usually?
Whatever we need. We start out at 7-ish and then we finish when somebody says, George, shut up, I want to go home. So then we end it. All right, we're gonna start. You good with that, Nicole? Okay. Welcome, everybody, to our meeting tonight. We're glad you guys could all come. If you guys all know Tiffany O'Donnell, she's our candidate for mayor, has come tonight to talk to us a little bit. And we'll fit her in here nice, comfortably into our meeting and give you a chance to talk with her. But we're gonna start out with, we are live streaming on our website. So we have, how many people do we normally have on an average for the meetings?
Last month we had 45 views, and the month before we had just under 100.
So people are watching us, seeing what's going on with us. So that's why I'm over here out of the picture. So we'll start out with our treasury report. Miss Amy Hall-Haney.
Okay, we currently have a balance of $915, and this is after we paid $400 for our liability insurance. We have some pending reimbursements that we will then write the checks once we get the money for the speaker, so we can do this live streaming for $96.29. George has finally got the cork board for the kiosk to put in the pavilion, or on the pavilion over at the Cleveland Park. That's $149.27. And of course, we still need to be reimbursed for the insurance. And Nicole is going to talk about her yard signs, and so that'll be $161.97. But some of these we won't pay until we get reimbursed, and then we'll pay the money.
Certainly, that's how
So
we
we
do
do
it.
have $915 and some odd cents in the checking.
And you haven't had my inaugural ball yet, so that'll take at least $30-40.
For what?
When I got elected president,
Oh,
at the inaugural ball. We're all going to Hardee's and share a couple of hamburgers. Have to sing our own music. Anyway, thank you very much. We're very fortunate tonight to have our Cedar Rapids Fire Department Chief Smith come and see us. We're just glad to see you in person again, Chief.
Thank you. Hey, it's nice to not be asked. I don't have a whole lot to update tonight. The biggest things are this week is the final week for our current rookie class. So they in their academy. So they will be finishing that Friday, and then they will be on shift. I don't know. I think I reported last month we hired eight. I think it was 8. I'm having a little brain fade. I was going to say 9. I think we hired 8 new employees, and they will be on shift starting, like I said, starting Saturday. So they go through an 8-week academy. We have 8 males, 1 female, and they've been doing good. So we'll be back up at full staffing at that point. Then on shift as far as that goes, so that will be very beneficial. And I announced last month too that Sydney Henderson, she has now started with us. She's a new public education specialist. I don't know, George, if you've reached out to her.
Yep, she just emailed us.
Okay, awesome. I know she spent the first couple weeks getting her feet wet and kind of overwhelmed. So I'm glad that she got in touch with you. So just let me know what needs you have. You're still planning the safety fair in the park here in mid-July.
We're shooting for August now.
Okay.
Okay.
So whatever needs you have from her, as far as that goes, and helping you get crews and stuff here. We also are going to be assisting as the summer goes along with the rolling rec wheel. From time to time, we'll hit a couple of them frequently, and then some of them periodically just throughout the summer. So,
Sure.
So we'll be
looking forward to seeing you over there.
absolutely.
We've had
So,
tremendous response at the park Saturday and on Wednesday afternoon.
Good.
From both the rolling recmobile and the library. It's just been buried with kids.
good.
So,
Well, everybody thinks
our park is looking really good.
everybody's itching to get outside and be together and get our return activities to normal. So I'm not surprised we're having good turnouts.
Well, they really had a lot of fun things they didn't do last year. They had a bouncy house this last time, and there were a lot of kids in it, and they had relay races for prizes. And then the library had them doing little crafty things, and they had hand out things for them to take home with them. So the kids had something to actually do with them
Yes.
and participate in something. So
Yes, and that's fantastic. So,
yes.
just from a fire safety perspective, thankfully we got some rain over the weekend here, so hopefully we continue to get some more rain. But we were talking about potentially a burn ban countywide, but we are not. Typically, when that happens, the fire chiefs from around the county get together and we agree to put a burn ban into effect. We did not do that at this point. We kind of talked via email on Thursday, Friday, and just with the impending rain, want to see what the weekend held as far as that's concerned. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. I know we're still in at least some quasi-drought conditions, but we'll just continue to make sure that, obviously, if we put a burn ban into effect, that's going to affect recreational fire pits, which because we just got those back in the spring. I want to be a little leery with that, but I also want to be cognizant of what our rural departments go through as far as what they have for potential for grass fires and stuff like that. And we will get a few grass fires in Cedar Rapids, but usually I'd say 90+% of those are typically when we get sparks thrown from trains, and it's in kind of those areas that will be impacted. So we don't have as much concern as far as those large grass fires with that. So it would, of course, if we put that into effect, the recreational fire pits. But as of right now, I don't see that happening in the near future with the healthy dose of rain we got over the weekend. And then just a friendly reminder that fireworks are illegal in the city of Cedar Rapids. So
You're telling the wrong people.
I know. I'm just it's
14 to 20-year-olds is where you.
I know. So I know our friends at PD will be here, have been, and will continue to be enforcing that. So I'll take any questions if it's okay once I'm done. My daughter surprisingly came home yesterday, so I'm going to bail and spend the rest of the night with her. She's back home tomorrow. So but any questions, comments?
But fire department? What was the fire out at PMX?
It was some metal shavings. And so I know they got it fairly quickly under control, but it took some, not overwhelming fire, but it was some metal shavings, I think in a pallet of materials. So, yeah.
All good.
We unfortunately had 2 minor injuries associated with that one, but thankfully only minor. So, yes.
Good. So, anybody have anything? Okay, thank you, Chief. I appreciate it.
I hate to talk on, but like I said, I want
We expect you to be here for the whole meeting next month.
I will be here for the whole meeting.
Don't want you to think you're getting away with this every week.
This is your one free pass.
This
It's
is
my
your
one
free
free
pass.
I appreciate that. All right, thank you much. And as always, if something comes up, I know Jeff can give me that, or Nicole George can email me too. So if anything comes up between now and next month, just give me a call.
You bet.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks,
Take care.
Steve. Have a good night.
See you soon. And we just had a late entry, but we haven't. Liaison from the Cedar Rapids Police Department, Lieutenant Wells.
Yeah, I
Thank
apologize.
you for coming tonight and appreciate it. Good to see you again.
Yeah, I apologize. I was out at the school board meeting out at College Community. So, you know, to thank for our school resource officers out there. I'll pass this around. That's kind of some of the crime activity, and then the schedule for the roll and rec will be over in the park later this week. So from a crime standpoint, 5-year averages, everything's low in the Cleveland neighborhood, which is great. We'd like to see that. We did have May 21st, the overnight hours, May 21st, May 22nd. there were several cars broken into in the 100 block of 17th Street Southwest. They were entered. The victims didn't necessarily make any reports. They just knew that their cars had been entered. Yes. From the police department standpoint, we hired 12 new officers. 2 of those officers are certified, and they've started the field training officer program immediately. And then we're still continuing through the hiring process in the hopes of hiring already certified officers. That is in process right now. And I'm not sure the numbers. I believe we had 9 from other agencies that applied, and I think 2 of them have withdrawn. So we might be down to 7, but it's just it's the first time that we've ever done it. Hiring certified officers from other agencies, not requiring them to go through our academy. The hopes that it would be to get our numbers up a little bit in these challenging times of trying to hire law enforcement officers. And then like the chief said, I have a little information in there on the fireworks prohibited within the city as we get closer to the 4th of July. We will, I'm sure, no doubt, get those calls and continue to come in. We are hiring officers on overtime to come in and enforce all those because the numbers just get pretty outrageous for patrol officers to.
Can they make one of their waiting stations our park? Because we get a ton of that stuff. When by the time you gotta get here, they disappear. So if we start from there, maybe they're gonna come.
Yeah, I can certainly check on that. I know it's divided up.
Well, last year from the parking lot all the way out to the baseball diamonds, there was probably 30 these big things on concrete that they had let off.
Yeah.
That's pretty brave.
Yeah.
So if you guys could park in there.
It's a challenge, right? It's kind of a mixed message when you allow the selling of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
You sell, but you can't use it.
yeah, it just would be, it gets a little, but we get hundreds of calls.
I think that we should bus them all down to Oskaloosa where this state senator that promoted it lives and just let him do that in his backyard for the night.
That's above my pay grade, so. No, I hear you. I
I got a
don't.
friend that tour business, I get some bus.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of some of the challenges we face with that, but we are trying to address that, and deal with those as much as we possibly can. And, you know, if you get an address that you think might be involved in it, I mean, certainly you can give me a call and I can pass it on to the officers that are coming in to work overtime. Make sure that they can give that address a little extra attention to see if they can catch them at the works of doing it.
Do you have a lot of calls from the same location, like people?
They're all over. The problem is when they go off, I mean, you get people calling in, it could be from a house right here, but depending on people's perspective, you know, they.
It could be next door, but it
Yeah,
doesn't actually
yeah,
be next
no,
door,
it's not.
sure.
So that's kind of the challenge, but, I mean, we have officers that are out and about, and they kind of know the areas that, you know, the key is we have to try to catch them, and that's where it gets. If you're not right in an alley walking through the backyard and sneaking up on them, it's hard to do.
Okay.
I don't know, and then did you already?
I have, no, I have.
Okay.
Oh, I will talk about it.
Okay. All right, any questions for?
With the ongoing violence that is happening throughout our country, we're pretty stable here in Cedar Rapids with
We are.
the concerns that we see other places.
Yep.
I'm just watching TV this afternoon and they did interviews with people from like 9 different states who had anywhere from 3 to 6 people killed, 10 more injured, all since last Friday.
Yeah.
They're all standing up there saying this has got to change, but nobody's going up there saying how they're going to change it, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, do we have that much concern here, or are we really?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we had a triple homicide just last week that was, I mean, that's not anything that you could ever be prepared for or, you know, proactively from law enforcement be trying to address that because that's happening within the walls of a house. You know, we don't have, I mean, we have obviously shots fired calls, we go on those. I don't have the number off the top of my head, but, you know, we try to do things to,
You do your due diligence.
yeah, to try to
Try to more
reduce
action
those
there
numbers.
than you are preventive in cases like that, to a homicide.
Right.
You really can't see.
Yeah.
You know, from the reports on TV, one of the friends of the guy, they were playing video games just an hour or two before, and he had no clue that this kid was
Yeah.
in that mindset.
Yeah.
That they were gonna saw that happen. So,
So last night up in Coggan, the one county deputy was shot, and lucky to be alive, he was shot multiple times. Very, very extremely lucky.
and the news team
Yeah,
found
the
him walking down the
KCRG
road.
found him, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's kind of an odd story, but yeah, they
Yeah.
caught him.
Yeah, he was, where he was found, the command post was right there, so I don't know if he knew where he was at or what, but, yeah.
Just walking down the
Walking
road.
down Highway 13.
Yeah.
There was
Within
some
a
side
mile of where
road
it all
right there,
happened.
that car.
Very odd. So we thank you for all the protection you give us and your
Yeah.
group in there, and we appreciate you coming and sharing with us. And if we have any concerns, we know how to get hold of you.
Yep.
And, yeah, thank you for what you do.
Yeah, no problem.
I really feel comfortable in the neighborhood. We have minor things happen, but nothing like this.
Yeah.
They had over there, which is just unfathomable, but we try, we're out a lot, we're talking to neighbors, we're around the streets, seeing what's going on, we're constantly up in the park, talking to people, and letting them know who we are. So, they've really been a busy park this year.
Yeah.
It's just been phenomenal, how many people have come to that park this spring.
Yeah.
So, we've not had any problems other than the litter bugs.
Yeah.
But, hey,
That, I
we
think.
doesn't
it's-
have a litter bug in their neighborhood.
Yep.
So, thank you, Chief.
Yeah, no problem. Well, not cheap, not cheap.
I can see into the future. Anyway. Ashley,
Hi,
thanks for coming.
you bet.
Appreciate you being here tonight. We got a little bit started on it, and we're going to move on to Safe Cedar Rapids, Annette Lorenz.
Yeah, just a couple of things. I didn't really bring numbers or anything like that with me tonight, just since it's been so long since we've met together in person. Kind of like what Lieutenant Walsh had said and the fire chief in regards to fireworks. So, you know, when citizens call in, to make sure that they can call that in a non-emergency number. If they don't know, it's 286-5491. The most information they can give into dispatch, the better. You know, like Lieutenant said, there will be multiple calls. So any direction, and it is hard to tell if fireworks are going off up in the air. If they think it's on the north side of First Avenue versus the south side of First Avenue. All of those descriptions help dispatch and help the officers that are out there patrolling to kind of know what direction to even go. So then when officers do respond, if they choose to not cite them, because maybe they didn't actually see them light off the fireworks, but if maybe they admit to it, or if they see like the burnt residue in the driveway, the evidence of it, they do not charge them criminally with that fine, but it's enough that I can then still send them out a counter call for disturbing the peace, because we know, it does upset individuals, dogs, veterans, and how impactful that is. So if they can say, like, even if like the house is all dark and quiet, they can still smell the residue there, or maybe they do admit to it, but they say the fireworks are all done for the night, I will still send them out a counter call for service. So, they just, again, get that reminder that it's disturbing the peace. Again, they can call that into the 286-5491. That's also the number that they can use for music, barking dogs. If they want an officer to respond promptly, that's the number to call. I don't know if you guys have anyone who's used the MyCR app, but that's something new that's rolled out maybe in the last couple of months. And that can be used for multiple different city departments. You can also still use it for PDs like street storages or other police issues that are going on that you might not need a response with an officer immediately. But you can still use that, the MyCR app to report multiple different things that are going on in a property. Citizens can still email me, or you and Nicole can email me, if you've got questions as to what's going on in a property, or you want updates, with the status on that. You can just still email me. You can also use the MyCR app as well. We have landlord training coming up on July 20th. Housing does that usually 2 times a year. During COVID, we obviously weren't able to host that, so that's coming up on July 20th. So any new landlords that have, purchased properties or become landlords in the last basically 2 years, will be able to attend that. So if you know neighbors in your, properties in your neighborhood who maybe have gone through a change of ownership in the last year or two, let them know that housing is offering this, and they can get signed up and registered for that, because there's multiple different speakers and presenters there. There's usually someone from Iowa Legal Aid, Civil Rights. They receive information about evictions. I present about Safe CR. Housing is there as a presenter to just talk about different code requirements. We present also on the city offered background checks. So maybe they purchased a property or inherited a property and are now using it as a rental but don't know a lot about some of those services. That's coming up. And that's really about it. If anyone has any questions, let me know.
Over here on 8th Avenue and 15th Street in the corner, there's a lot of stuff going on there. Business vehicles, trailers, camper. This last weekend, it used to be a nice quiet little house on the corner, but since the derecho, somebody's moved in with this gentleman that lived there, I think, alone. And we've seen all sorts of weird things going on there. You guys should drive by and look at it and see if you agree or disagree.
Is that 8th Avenue and 15th Street?
Yeah, right on the corner.
Okay.
You can tell.
Okay.
Yeah, on the east side of 15.
Okay.
So, we had a concern. You notice our dedicated Denise is not here tonight. Denise is not here tonight because she went out about 12:30 last night in her yard and was attacked by 2 Rottweilers running free. She has a huge gash along the top of her leg, and she is very, very painful right now. And she said she was sorry she couldn't make it to it. She did call the police. They took her to the hospital and her checked over. And she said they did find the 2 Rottweilers over by 16th Avenue, and they did capture them. What happens to them and their owners?
Sure, from my understanding, you may know more about it than I do. Animal control, I believe, will, not really cite them, they'll sign like a certificate, like a statement that where the dog will be classified as potentially dangerous, unless it's already been classified as potentially dangerous previously. Where they're not immediately considered a dangerous animal, they're considered potentially dangerous. And then there's a list of protocol that owner has to go through after they pass the quarantine time first.
What about the victim? Where is she staying? Who pays her bills?
It's probably a civil thing.
That's something that you typically handle through your homeowner's insurance.
Mhm.
So they will tell her who they belong to, so she can pursue that.
If the animal control knows,
Yeah, they
I
can
mean, if they're like
determine
chipped, they can determine who the owners are. If they were just, if there's no identification on them, if they don't have a chip.
So you
then
don't know
might just
who
be
they are,
known.
she said she wants them euthanized.
She would
Does
have to
she
follow
have an
back.
option of doing that?
I would have her follow back up with animal control, and they should be, they may be able to tell her what they can tell her.
They investigate all
Yeah,
those type of calls.
But, so she has to do several things. She can't do anything
when it
about
comes
the
to like
dog's
her
pressure.
health insurance stuff, that would be civil, but in regards to like, whether or not this animal is gonna be considered potentially dangerous or dangerous, that would be up to animal control. So I would have her, follow up with Kelly at animal control.
Okay. All right, well, we just worry about her. She lives there alone. She's retired, and not that's the health, and then to get attacked like that, it's really shaking her up quite a bit,
Oh, sure.
as it is all of us. Our next door neighbor was attacked by 3 of them down at the bottom of the hill off of Rockford Road a year or 2 ago, and they never found them. But
They never located the dog.
they never located the dogs, but she was able to get a stick and hammer at them until they took off. So she was never really physically injured, but when you have 3 Rottweilers come at you, you're gonna have concerns. And yet today, she said, when I see one, she said, I shiver. She said, they scare me.
Mhm.
So, It's not always the physical that they caused that people deal with for a long time. And I just wondering what their recourse would be if they caught the dog. So I'll just tell her she has to talk to animal
I would have to
control
follow back up with the animal control.
and then find a lawyer. Okay, good to know. Thank you very, very much. Appreciate that. So we had robberies of plants taken off of front porches and back porches this week over on 17th Street. Plants and pots, and they took the fancy pots and the plants and a bird feeder and a fountain. Why would they do something like that?
Only we knew.
Little potted plants sitting on the front porch and it's gone. And
Father's Day gifts.
why would they take that? They reported that too. You had an officer investigate that, I believe yesterday. But my wife's fussing all our plants into the backyard. But we have cheap pots, so she said they weren't gonna take ours. So,
Because I was in El Paso and they said, watch out for Mother's Day. Pots get stolen
all
for
right,
Mother's Day gifts, so.
this is Father's
It's a
Day.
theory.
We don't really like
It's a
pots.
thought.
Not a big thing for us. Anyway. So does anybody have anything for Annette as far as Safe Cedar Rapids is concerned?
Did Safe Cedar Rapids come up with any parameters as far as properties that have been neglected since the derecho?
No, did I refer you back over maybe to Kevin?
I don't remember, honestly. I feel like I left that.
I don't either, but I would have you follow back up with like Kevin Ciabatti. And I can email you tomorrow with his contact information. is what
I
I'll
think
do.
I think I have his email. That name sounds familiar.
I might be giving you Kevin and John Riggs email both. And John is retiring, so that's why I follow back up with Kevin. I don't remember what John's last day is though. I said I can email you tomorrow his contact, just in case.
The lots where the houses that flooded out were taken away and the city owns a lot. I know they're probably mowing the best they can right at this point, but we got one. It's got grass about that tall in one of your city lots. It's over on the northeast side. I'd have to get the address. Do we just call you guys to have the city come take care of it?
Yeah, if you join the vicinity, I can just drive by it tonight when I leave, it's still light out.
Well, you know where the dent, scratch and dent warehouse is over on the northeast side.
H Avenue, J
H
Avenue.
Avenue.
Yeah.
When you come off of the interstate on the H Avenue, over the railroad tracks, take the first right. It's be the fourth lot up from the industry.
At H&M. Okay.
Anyway, it's pretty tall. And we're working on the house next to it, and I had to go around this tree and you're up to here and
Just over the railroad track, first go to the right.
yeah, go over the railroad tracks, first street to your right, go down almost to the very end, it's on the left-hand side.
I can drive by, I'll take H&J usually on my way home.
No, it'd be 12th Street if it's the first one past the road.
Okay,
And those are the type of things that I've just been reporting through the My Cedar Rapids app, because you just take the picture and then you can even log back into your account and it'll see if the ticket's been, like the item's been addressed or not, so.
okay, I just want to know the procedure. Should ask.
Yeah, you can, and like with the MyCR app, you can still remain anonymous. Sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to use it because I don't want it to know that it's me. You can enter in a complaint without logging actually into the app, so then it still shows up as anonymous. No one knows who it is that submits it. If you want fellow backup,
I don't
you
mind.
do need to log in. But then that's the nice thing, is then you can actually get an email or a text back from the city employee kind of saying it's
This is
in
the
progress
status.
or it's been completed.
Okay. All right, good to know. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Anybody have anything else? If not, Annette, thank you again for coming tonight. We appreciate it. And our next on the list, Jeff Wollcraft
Anything from the city?
from the city.
Part one from part two?
A lot of them have already been touched on. The rolling wreck mobile, it's been great. I was at Cleveland on Saturday. Unfortunately, that was when they were taking out the splash pad, and
Then,
it was hot, so a splash pad would have been great. But it's been great to go out with rolling wreck mobile. Appreciate all that the neighborhood association is doing to promote that. I know lifeguards are still an ongoing process, so if you know of any lifeguard age folks, promote. promote. The Parks Department is in dire need of folks looking to lifeguard.
Now, the Alice Pool, that is signed closed until further notice, so they can be closed pretty much for the summer then?
The Ellis
Yeah.
Pool, I don't know the exact date. I know that the Parks Department was wanting to open the smaller pools, Jones, Ellis, and one more that I forget, Beaver. I believe we put a date to one of those, and it's just a sort of a rolling as more people come on board and get trained, then, you know, reach a certain capacity. Tree debris is already picked up on this side of town, but not a whole lot else going on. You guys been following your social media. It seems like you're staying well in the loop on the Creative Paving for Progress projects. So
We did ask, we need to know. So we
Yeah.
go out and figure out, to find out. Okay. Well, Jeff, any questions for Jeff?
So there will be somebody here next month for the Paving for Progress,
he's
Doug,
Doug.
like I said, Doug should be attending next month.
because there are some concerns of advancements that we have. with What's under construction right now, so we've been asking for a couple months.
Has you brought these concerns to Doug?
To
Lee?
Doug. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So
They weren't able to attend tonight, but they said they'll shoot for July.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, appreciate it. And next on our agenda is our city council representative, Miss Ashley Van Ryn. Ashley, what's coming on with the city council?
Well, council meeting tomorrow, 4:00. Put some highlights out either tonight or tomorrow morning. I kind of just like talk about, I've been doing that so that District 5 is highlighted. Anything, I'll pull that information out. Otherwise, we've got the citizen review board that gets formalized tomorrow, so that's kind of exciting for our city. We've got the parade this weekend, so check that out if you're going to be around on Saturday. I did have it wasn't a space to take a picture, but it brought me a lot of joy today seeing a huge class of kids playing in the park today.
Oh,
And it really is a testament to all the work that you put in.
Boys and Girls Club were over there this afternoon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So it was just a nice thing to see them utilizing all the hard work that, that Canna really put in.
we love seeing that ourselves.
Mhm.
It means a lot to us to see people come that far away to utilize that new playground equipment.
Otherwise, I would say as a big fan, make sure to check out a Colonel's game. Now they're at full capacity. So it's a nice walkable thing to do.
Very much.
Forgot to note, we got a lot of compliments on the swing at the park from Saturday users.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
The big disc?
the
Yeah,
disc.
everybody loves that.
Mhm.
Everybody loves, even big kids get on that swing around. So we have room inside there yet for a few more things, and that is down to University Hospital this morning, and in their playground, they got a couple of things they gotta check out. See if there might be a little place for one or two more things in our future, so we wanna not clutter it, but add a few spots to it, to something new and interesting too. So, thank you, Ashley. Anything new coming up for you? You seem to be on a half a dozen different committees.
I don't want to see your resume. It's like probably 40 pages long.
When do you have this time to sleep?
I do. I do sleep. No, there's a lot to love about Cedar Rapids, so you all make it easy for me.
Well, we love our part of the town, and we really want to pay attention to it, make sure that people
Look,
know that we're there.
yeah, District 5 is amazing. It's exploding in all the right ways. We've got the big FedEx announcement tomorrow as well. It's kind of like there's already been press about it, so it's a lesser kept secret. But when I asked what the average salary is, and that includes the part-time workers, which there's about 300 of, They said $26 an hour. So this is gonna be a good living wage for people.
Mhm.
And I think it's a really exciting opportunity that's in District 5 that's gonna be easy and accessible to get to. So if there are people who are looking for work, whether that's full-time or part-time, I think it's gonna be a nice opportunity for everybody.
Just one of the many things that we have on the southwest side of town that is growing out towards the airport
Mhm.
and beyond. Clear down
And-
past the airport.
And
I
as
see they
I,
dug a big hole down there by the truck center. I don't know what's going in there, but there's a lot of stuff happening between here and Swisher.
and as I understand, part-time employees are also eligible for benefits. So that's a nice adage as well.
Glad to see people are interested in coming to our city
Mhm.
and producing. Anybody about the floodgate going in First Avenue and the Whitewater Rapid thing, is that progressing? Is it still on the board?
Everything's there, just working on it. So at some point in time, we're gonna get to the point where the tree actually has to be moved. So I think that's gonna be an exciting thing. It's not quite there yet. I would say too that it's outside of District 5, but on AdCraft, I've been working with Jesse Thelming from the Economic Alliance, but also a local artist as well, to do a Unity mural. And so that's finishing up. Most of it will be done tonight. It'll be ready within the next couple of days here, and that's a We Are CR one. So that's just kind of a nice little adage. Jesse and I scheme a lot about all the different sides of buildings and stuff like that that we can paint. So that's one of the most, the newest murals that we can have. So
We're contemplating seeing if we can get a mural put in our shelter up against the wall behind the picnic tables there. I was blessed with the okay to do that a year or so ago, but then everything hit. So I think that a diverse type of mural showing the true nature of what our park should be and what we want it to be would be an added attraction for that.
I can check with some of our artists.
Over on, if you look over here across the street at the water box, it's got all this stuff on that the high school kids at Jefferson did several years ago for us. And a lot of people said that ain't never gonna last. They'll destroy that and it'll just be a mess. And here we've gone 5 years, 6 years, and still looks as good as the day they did it. So people kind of, for some reason, have respect for that kind of stuff. So we're hoping we can add something to that wall to bring it out a little bit of what we're doing. So if you could chat with somebody to see about
I can do that.
doing that, that would be great.
Yep.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, anything else? Okay.
It's always so hard to like pinpoint any one thing because there's always so many things going on. If you look hard enough, but yeah, just a lot of good things to be proud of.
So it is. Okay, so we have a guest speaker tonight. We're very, very happy to have with us is Tiffany O'Donnell, who used to be a reporter for KGAN, and now she, after a heck of a career after KGAN, which is a long list of great things that she's done, now wants to run for mayor. So Tiffany, welcome to us. Tell us about yourself and what your plans are.
Thanks so much, George. First of all, thank you for the work that you do at the association. In my short time since I announced I was running, one of the things I've learned is that so goes the association, so goes the neighborhood. I was sharing with Annette, when you have great leadership in your association, I'll put my money on your neighborhood. It makes a difference. And so hats off to you and the group here for being engaged, because it is a key part of, key piece of the puzzle for me as someone who has a vision for Cedar Rapids. Our neighborhoods, as you alluded to, when you've got people together in parks together, we hold each other accountable. And we've got to make sure that all of our neighbors have neighbors like you, getting out, getting to know people, holding each other accountable. So I appreciate you for that and the association for that. I think it's important for me to say a little bit about my why, because, you know, a lot of people know me from Channel 2, but the second question I get often now after, do you still work at Channel 2? Which is, of course, no, I haven't for 6 years. Thanks for watching. But, is why are you running? And my answer is really simple. I mean, my why, their names are Devin and Lucci. And these are my 2 daughters, who are now 22 and 18. 22-year-old has moved to her first job in Houston, and the youngest one just graduated from Cedar Rapids, Washington, and is headed to Indiana for college. So I'm about to be an empty nester. And my why is that even, you know, prior to you know, COVID, you know, my husband and I always expected, I'm a 20-year Cedar Rapidian. He's a 5th generation Cedar Rapidian, but we always thought that our kids would go away and come back. And even prior to COVID and derecho, we started to see more of our friends' kids not come back. And actually, in some cases now, we've watched our friends follow their kids other places, which no one blames them. But it seemed to be a cautionary tale to me. And, you know, as you know, having a front row seat at Channel 2 for so long, you know, I was watching this great momentum we had after the floods of 08, and I was lucky enough to be a part of, you know, helping build Nubo and sit on that board. We knew that was going to be a linchpin for development down there, and that happened. And we were really kind of clicking on all cylinders. And then things kind of slowed. Things kind of slowed a little bit, and I started to take a look around, and I was concerned that, you know, my kids wouldn't come back like those kids that hadn't come back. And I know that we do have so much to offer, and I didn't want to see that happen. So started to look around at leadership and thought, you know what, who's it going to be? Who's it going to be if I want something different? And I decided I think it's going to be me. You know, I'm watching Marion clicking on all cylinders. I'm watching Coralville clicking on cylinders. I'm watching Cedar Rapids check boxes about some great, you know, opportunities for us. I was lacking a plan. I was lacking a vision. So I thought I'm going to take everything that I've learned this far. I feel like it's all led me to this, you know, very fortunate place that I can even consider putting myself in the running to lead this great city. Certainly my time at Channel 2, you know, it's an interesting relationship that an anchor has with viewers. You know, you're in a room with 4 people doing the news a couple times a day, but you really do have a relationship with the people on the other side. And I feel like we go through stuff together. And I miss that. But I also feel like because of that, I know you, Cedar Rapids, you know, we've been through some stuff. Fast forward to the last 6 years where I had this incredible opportunity to really re-career and become a chief executive officer of an organization that's about to be 15 years old next year, that is in the diversity, equity, inclusion space, specifically advancing women leaders at all levels in companies now, not just in Iowa, but literally across the country and around the globe with our global partners like Collins, you know, like Principal, John Deere. These are companies that are intentional about DEI, specifically about advancing women. And this is the work I've been doing over the last 6 years. So combining those 2 things, you know, along with my relationships that I have across the state and elsewhere with, you know, not only at the state level, but with our, you know, federal lawmakers now, and our businesses, I think it's all led me to the spot to even raise my hand to say I want to do this job. And it would be, you know, a privilege to do this job. I have a couple priorities I'll just touch on high level here. I say fix and finish. We got to fix our streets. I heard you talk about, you know, paving for progress. I've already come out publicly and advocated to extend that local option sales tax. We don't want anybody to be left out. We don't want our property taxes touched. That's the way to do it. We got to, you know, finish our derecho cleanup, which I know I saw the Flannery trucks in my side of town, which I think were the last part of town to get that done. Got to speed that up as best we can. And I say if we need to bring them back at the end of the summer, we bring them back at the end of the summer. And then we got to talk about, you know, flood recovery, flood walls. Another pillar of my campaign is really, you know, upping our game on our river. And in order to do that, we got to speed up, you know, the flood walls and the flood protection. I had great conversations with Rob Davis last week about some really innovative things the city is doing, and it gives me hope that that could actually be possible. A second piece for me is, I call it recruit and retain, and that's where we talk about, you know, recruiting and retaining people in business, starting off with the people and businesses who are here already. And whether that's upskilling the people we have, whether it's, you know, wrapping our arms around the immigrants, you know, who've chosen to call Cedar Rapids home, making sure that our people who've chosen to be here have great opportunities, great jobs and stability, along with the businesses that have chosen to be here. You know, the biggest businesses we have here, the Collinses, the UFGs, the Van Meters, they started here. So let's make sure that they know how important they are to our future. Let's get in their 20, 30-year plans, as well as be intentional about and strategic about how we're recruiting new people and new business to our town. And then finally, the last piece, really, I call it drive and thrive. And that's that really, lighting up our downtown, diversifying what we have downtown, housing, as well as shops and restaurant and bars, not just the restaurants and bars. Really leaning into the unique neighborhoods that all surround our downtown and leveraging their uniqueness. Annette and I were talking about how incredibly unique our neighborhoods are. And Time Check versus Valley versus Wellington Heights, versus the Cleveland Association. How do we really help support these neighborhoods becoming self-sustaining on their own? And that all leads us to the river. A river that I kept thinking, what's wrong with me? What am I missing about the river? Why we haven't developed this? It seems we keep turning our back on the river, where it's just this incredible resource for us. Let's face it. Let's look at it. Let's figure out ways that we can really make that a centerpiece to our town. That, oh, by the way, is also what our current and future workforce wants too, along with Connect CR. We become a hub of activity and an envy of the region, and who knows how far we can become the envy of. So that's just a high-level view of my vision for Cedar Rapids. I am grateful to be here because I know, George, you'll have questions for me. I'm really also most interested this early in this campaign to hear what's important to you. I know you have ideas about what would make your association and your neighborhood even better than it is today. And I know you have my email, so I'll encourage those of you who have questions to get with Nicole if you don't get them answered here.
So now I gotta ask you a question?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Well, you don't have to, but I'm here for it. And I'll do the best I can.
We're running short on time, so
Yeah.
we'll have to
Be
we'll have to come up with a list of questions and
Yeah.
email them for
Just
sure.
one is that with I hear what you're saying. I can envision it the way you're touting it is the greatness of, and you don't have to take a look at Austin, Texas, or many other cities like Chicago that really embrace their river. They have activities on the river. They have a lot of things for people to do in the riverfront districts. We're going out to Reno, and that's all I heard about. People just gotta go down to the riverfront, gotta go down to the riverfront. When you come to Cedar Rapids, nobody ever tells you gotta go down to the riverfront. And so I can understand where you're coming from is, what do they have that we're not doing? And let's see if we can't do that.
And George, what put me over the edge, I had somebody say to me, you gotta go to Manchester and see. I'm like, okay, so now I gotta compete with Manchester. Really?
Yep.
I mean, you look at Milwaukee, you look at there are other cities who've really done some great things, and we have an opportunity here, really, if we're just asking the right questions. And again, the mayor in our form of government is one of 9, guides policy along with the council. So it's not, one person, doesn't get to decide these things. I think it's really important for a mayor in our city as a part-time mayor to be the one that's shining a light on things that are important. And that would be something I would want to shine a light on, would encourage the council and others to come along with me on.
Good, great. Anybody else have any questions? Okay, so as we get questions, we'll get your website out to people so that if they have questions about your feelings on all the stuff that is going on, that they can get to you. So we'll put that out for you.
It's my email is Tiff. Everyone calls me Tiff. I'm in trouble when people call me Tiffany. So it's TIFF, Tiff at Tiffany for Mayor, the number 4 for mayor.com. And I have a phone number on there too. Feel free to call me as well.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you for coming.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Okay, now as we move on to another visitor, we're gonna running short of time. Splash pad at Cleveland Park was closed last Friday. They scraped up all the old surface Friday and Saturday, cleaned it all up, and then this morning they started. I sent a couple of pictures to Nicole to put on the website. They're using blue and green for our base. The stuff's about that thick, so it's gonna really be bouncy. It's gonna be fun for the kids to be on, and they're doing a really nice job. It looked to me like they could be done with it tonight.
Is it rubberized?
Yes.
Squishy?
Oh, yeah. And so They, couple of days for it to dry and seal up, and we should hopefully have the splash pad open by the end of the week again. So I got a phone call from Brett Neighbors at the Parks Department, and him and I had talked about a couple of concerns at the park, which he's gonna help me with, getting our kiosks put up. It's just been very, very busy with the Parks Department, so my kiosk is not the top of the line thing, but he said, we'll get it up for you soon. The other thing was, with our tree population being what it is, I have a lot of friends who are dealing with melanoma, and it bothers me. Because when you see kids, groups of kids out in our play area, there's no place for shade unless they all huddle under one big tree, or over in the pavilion, or they're not near the pool, not having the fun for the pad and stuff. So he said that they're putting out bids to 3 companies to get me a shaded area. It's gonna be a long, not canvas, but that style, with 6 poles, and it'll stretch between the poles and open up an area along that that's gonna be shaded, so the kids will be right near the pool and have shade to get into. And that's great. That is super important to me, and I think you'll see that the kids and parents will use that a lot. We'll see the picnic tables all sitting underneath of that before you know it, instead of that. So, may not sound like a lot, but it's really gonna make a difference in the way our pool is accepted, or our splash pad is accepted and being used. Once we get that up, you'll see a big difference in that. And we're always looking for improvements or how we can better it for the people that are using it. I have nothing to gain from this other than my granddaughter thinks that I have the neatest backyard. I have a splash pad, I have all this playground equipment I've got just for her. And she's 6 and she goes, Grandpa, thanks for getting this for me. And I said, well, I share with other kids when you're not here. So, yeah, she's about that tall and blonde, and she has got all the answers. But she loves the park, and I think about those people when we talk about things that we're gonna do and ideas that we have for the park.
Did you show her all 40+ trees that were planted by the Boy
It's
Scouts?
been back
42?
since we've done that,
Yeah,
but
we owe them a huge, huge thank you. I actually was in Marion the other day and I saw the Boy Scout Troop 42 trailer, and I stopped and knocked on the door and nobody was home, but I was like,
that's
man,
my
I can't
troop.
thank them enough.
I was Scoutmaster, Troop 42.
Yeah.
5 years.
Those are gonna grow tall and
14
strong.
Eagle Scouts. Good troop, not going out with it. So the pad hopefully will be open by the end of the week, which will be just in time for the next wave of hot weather to come into it. The playground is being used extensively. The rolling rec center and the mobile library have been very, very well received over here. And I think they're gonna have a good summer when they come over here on Wednesdays afternoons and Saturday afternoons. They're gonna be there every week, and so people start to see that. And we really appreciate that opportunity to get that out to us. The Safe Fair update, I'm gonna turn that over to my partner because she's got a better handle on it than I do at this moment.
Amy and I met with Susan Johnston from Central and Shannon from the police department. It's, as of right now, it's tentatively scheduled for August 14th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. We're going to be looking at doing a lunch fundraiser for Cana instead of breakfast time, just because of the time change. Probably still stay at that $5 purchase price, but we'll end up connecting with Hy-Vee for donations for that. We'll probably do like hot dogs, chips, cookie, and bottled water, something easy like that. We're looking at having more booths this year, but Shannon had commented that the police department and Safe Kids Lynn County Coalition have limited availability that day. So we're counting on more of the social services agencies because we're looking at doing it more of a general health, kids health and safety fair. So a lot of just community outreach programs that are available, just kind of bringing awareness, because it's not obviously just kids that attend this, it's mostly parents and things. So Susan had a long list of people she wanted to contact, so we're gonna probably max it at 16 booths, but I believe in 2019 we only had 8. So a lot of things are still in the air, but we'll know more this week. So we'll share that as it becomes available.
Yeah, and we picked, well, Susan wants to do things like social services, because this community, it's.
Our area really
Our
could use those
area,
resources.
yeah, needs resources, and people don't know what resources are available or how to, connect with them, so there'll be tables like, I don't know.
Hey, Kat,
Hey,
Willis
Kat,
Davy.
and Willis Davy, that type of thing.
ASAC. Yeah, we had over 100 in attendance the first year, and it was just, shot in the dark. We'd never done like anything like this before, and we have a better idea of how to promote it. So this year is going to be a lot more engaging, and we'd like to keep it to the neighborhood, but of course we can't limit who comes. So we'll take anyone and everyone who wants to come and enjoy the safety fairs.
We had a lot of people stop in. We did on our electronic media and put the word out, had signage all over the place for it. And we still had a lot of people who stopped and said, we saw all these people, Mr. Shucks and Herky the Hawk was here and Sparky and McGruff was there. And kids said, what's going on, Mom? So we went around the block, come in to see. They signed their release form. The kids went through the whole program. Said, "Gosh, we wish we had known about this earlier." And we think, okay, so now we know we got to get it out there louder.
Yeah, the neighbors are the ones that didn't see the media.
Yeah,
So it's a very interesting predicament.
They put it on the electric sign.
And that will help also. So we're looking forward to that. But
Nicole, what's the date on you?
August 14th, tentatively from 10 to 1.
when we
And
did
there's
the,
a roll and record meal that day at 2 o'clock.
when we did the History Happened Here signage, you've seen them around town. That was a brainstorm of ours, and we're very proud of how that has turned out within the city, and there's more of it to come. But one of the first ones they put down was at one of the churches down off of 16th Avenue, in the new Bow area. And my neighbor, lady goes to that church and had a picture of her in the paper the next day with the big splash button. She came over, wanted to know if I had that. And I said, yeah. She says, did you ever see this? This is really great. See what they did? I said, you were at the meetings. When we put this all together, remember all this? Oh, that's what we were talking about. So yes, when it comes from the old neighbors, you think, how could you not know? You think, what am I not doing right? And that's the struggle we deal with also, is how do we get that information out? So hopefully this should be someone do a better job of getting it. Herky Hawk told us, he says, you're doing a good thing. He says, keep it up. He says, they will come. He said, I was very impressed with what you had up here for your first year. He says, you guys are doing right. So good encouragement from a college grad. And then he said, I do a lot of this stuff, and I've never seen anything this good. So we hope we got something we can really work and make grow. So, but with the support of the church and that is great.
It's 8 o'clock, so let's bust through the rest of this stuff.
Okay.
Specifically, I've been in contact with Lee Tippy from the city. He's our project engineer that's handling the paving for progress work on Chandler and 20th Street. This is phase 2 of the paving for progress project. The statement that the city released last week by Lieutenant Welch, thank you.
Yep, see.
Thank
Thanks.
The statement last week, I believe they released this on Thursday or Friday, was reconstruction at Chandler Street, 20th Street, and the entrance to Jefferson High School is progressing nicely. Weather permitting, utilities and pavement prep will be completed by the end of this week, with new pavement going in next week. The new pavement and sidewalk should be constructed by the end of July, well in advance of the start of the school year. While pavement placement at the high school entrance is underway, storm sewer and water main will be installed along the Chandler Street Southwest Loop. The contractors have nearly completed reconstruction of the pedestrian crosswalk at 20th Street and 16th Avenue, and have begun reconstructing driveways off 16th Avenue, which is a precursor to work to adding a new sidewalk on the north side of 16th Avenue. This new sidewalk will close the sidewalk gap provided the pedestrian access to Jefferson High School and 16th Avenue businesses. Hi, Ann.
Brian, then, thanks for coming.
Thank you.
We had requested it back in May that, VTV or somebody from the city or Pierre Tobin Construction were to attend our meeting. They weren't able to attend this month, but we did say they're gonna shoot for July. Lee also sent me some personal comments today. He said some of your members may already receive the bi-weekly email updates for this project. Obviously attached is the most recent one, which I just read. He said that was dated June 16th. They are placing the new concrete pavement of the intersection of 20th and Chandler. They're thinking Tuesday or Wednesday this week that will begin. After the sewer has been installed on the Chandler Street loop, the water services on 20th Street will be connected to the new water main after obviously testing, disinfection, and all the water stuff is completed. And then they expect all new pavement on 20th Street plus new driveways will be completed by the end of this October. Pavement construction on both 20th Street and Chandler Street loop will be in shorter segments to minimize access restrictions to residents. This is a concern that Stu and I were actually just talking about this the other day. That's a big concern of mine, just with on the Chandler loop specifically. There are quite a few neighbors that they need to have access to their homes because of either their age or physical ability. And they commented that we expect all water mains, storm sewer, and sanitary sewer work this construction season to be complete, along with considerable portion of new pavement. Any remaining pavement construction will occur in spring and early summer 2022. They did say that temporary concrete pavement will be placed in roadways and driveways where needed to provide hard surface temporary access through the winter. Obviously, right now it's just rock, so it's not that great. I know I have a running list of questions for the city, just that neighbors have either expressed to me or questions that I've come up with. I know Sue probably has a list. So if you have any specific questions that you want to address, I'm happy to send those along to Lee and Doug. They'll circle back to us. So, any comments or questions on that? No, Sue, do you want to email me your notes? Is that okay?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect, thank you. Otherwise, the neighbors have been asking me about the scheduled opening date for the Quick Start. I don't have an opening date yet. I haven't even seen their hiring sign, other than the one that was temporarily up. But the gas pumps at the 16th Avenue Quick Start have been installed. Landscaping is done. They're working on the interior finishes, so I'm guessing it's soon.
and the lighting, I mean, all
And yeah, and then
the outdoor lighting.
yes, it looks incredible. I'm just anxious to see how the traffic flow works.
Yeah.
So that additional lane should really help. But again, waiting for the school year to start, that will be the telltale.
You and the city are all waiting to see.
Yes, exactly. So we'll circle back with the city engineer that, John, that commented on their initial traffic report. They'll do another one once it's open, so. Otherwise, George, the yard signs are printed. They're currently in the back of my van. Forgot to bring them in to show you guys. So if you want to see them, you got to come outside with me. So I'm going to be coordinating with neighbors in different areas of the neighborhood association limits to have their sign in their yard. We have 10, so I would like to at least have 4 or 5 out to start, and then of course have some extra. And again, these are just signs that are directing people to follow us on either our website or our Facebook page, just to kind of engage them a little more. Our Facebook page is very well received. I really appreciate the feedback we get from neighbors, and new neighbors are following every day. So that makes me feel like we're doing something right. Allegra was great to work with. They did also contact me about if we were interested in getting any apparel made. I would like to continue doing business with them. They're great people to work with. They're relatively affordable, and they actually offer a grant that we'd like to apply for. So if anybody is interested in having Canna t-shirt or backpack or jacket or whatever you want, if that's something you're interested in, let me know. We'll probably order it on a case-by-case basis, but let me know if you have any questions on that. I was hoping Galen and Rose would be here, the Heatlands, but the previous meetings we've talked about doing a business listings directory fundraiser where businesses or individuals can promote their business or organization on our Facebook or our website, and then in turn we would give them either Facebook advertising or just have it there as a resource. And it's a very low cost thing to them, and it could be a potentially couple $1,000 fundraiser for us. So I have the first draft started. If anybody has any businesses that they'd like me to reach out to that they think would be interested in just making a donation to Canna in exchange for this, let me know. Galen had a few at the last meeting, and I sent it to him as just like a rough draft, and I used his business as a sample to see get his feedback on it. Otherwise, the only other thing I had on the agenda was Denise wanted me to share the reminder of the Cedar Rapids Museum of Art exhibits, and then on the third Thursday of each month from 5 to 8 p.m. you can actually visit all the galleries for free. So I
During
did that.
July and August, it's free for everybody. Somebody
Oh,
sponsors it, so you can go all of July and August free.
Perfect. And Denise was really excited about promoting that, so she and I did a little bit of research, and I'll include that in our email blast tomorrow as well.
Somebody sponsors that so that they can offer
Yeah.
that. They do it every summer, but it's July and August. Yeah.
Nicole, I think you can also mention that the library has both a youth and adult reading program
Oh, okay.
right now too that's going on.
And it's just for the summer? Did it already start?
Summer deer.
Yep.
Yeah.
Didn't the west side just opened up a food bank also? in the
They're
last month or
they're
so?
partnering with Urban Dreams, which has an outpost there.
Okay,
So they're more than just a food bank. They've got like economic development opportunities and things like that over there as well.
They just sign up for that summer reading program on the Cedar Rapids Library website.
Okay, for adults and kids?
Yes.
Right there? Okay,
Right.
perfect.
It's
so the kids can
similar,
sign up to adults
similar,
for
yeah,
us,
it's
we
a
don't
little bit
have to.
different than last year.
Say that one more time.
Similar, but a little bit different than previous years.
Okay,
As far as, I think, the computer program.
awesome. Anything else? Sorry, I tried to race through all that stuff so we could bust that in.
There you go.
Can somebody find out, I'm just curious, growing up here in Cedar Rapids, the Cedar River down by Quaker was dredged every once in a while. I think it was a deal between King's Concrete, because King's Concrete was down there, just a couple blocks away. And I think they used to do it for free, but then they would get sand and stuff to use in King's Concrete, and something went bad, they went sour or something. And that just helped with flooding. I'm just kind of curious. I don't know when the last time it was done. I would be curious to know that.
Yeah,
And,
the flood committee has actually reviewed that in partnership with Rob Davis and has ruled that the measures that we're doing now are more effective, particularly in the long term. It didn't become a sustainable method to deter our flooding.
okay. So even though it was done for free?
Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't have enough of an impact that we still need to do the measures that we have. I mean, it was something that particularly in 2018, we really thought about it a lot and went through all the studies and everything like that. And it just was ruled out. Yeah, that's a great question.
Those would be kind of the nice things to get out there to the public, because I know when the flood of 2008 came, there was buzz. A lot of us that
Yeah.
grew up in Cedar Rapids knowing that used to happen and why wasn't that being done? I just think it may be educational.
Back in the old, but don't be an engineer, but I worked on a lot of these dams and stuff in my lifetime. The dams were permanent. They had a height and everything behind the dam would stack up. You go to any of the big hydroelectric dams, Boulder Dam in Colorado has the same problem as it is building up because the only place it is running out is down through the tunnels. Where here with our 5-in-1, we have 5 gates. And when we get up to that point where the water is getting high, they actually drop the gates. When they drop the gates, that washes a lot of that stuff out. And so the stuff that we were dredging is now being washed down the river when we have these high water rushes from it. And when it's low, and the bridge down below, the dam's pieces down, it really cleans up the bottom of it. So when they bring it back up like they have it right now, you can see it up at the park. We get a nice, Ellis Park is beautiful, right height for skiing and other activity, but down below the dam, you can walk across the river. And that will cause some settlement to it, but this fall, when they put over that down, you're going to see that most of that runs out again.
So does that go down the river and create a flooding problem somewhere else then?
No, because it spreads out and it actually will build up on the outside edge of it. And our river runs fast enough between here, The next dam down, the roller dam itself is really low. It's not a very tall dam, so it's not really gonna slow down, and they're talking about taking that dam out
Yeah.
here soon.
Mhm.
And then you gotta go clear down to the Palisades before you hit another one.
Well, and it's
And part of it's
got a
gone.
big hole there.
Yeah, it's a big hole in
They're
it.
gonna wait till flood season to take it out, not when you can walk
Even when
across.
even when we have the major floods, when you see after it's done, there's not a lot of sand and stuff built up on the land that was flooded. It all just continues on down the river. And so, it really, they had the same thing up in Lake Delhi before they had their dam out, is they would dredge it. They spend $1 million every 5 years, 10 years to dredge it all out and put all the sand up on the side, and then it would just fill back in again, because they had no way of draining it down the river because the doors of the dam were stuck. And they finally got one open halfway, but it was not going to do the job they needed to get it down. So when that flushed out, you couldn't believe how much sand and stuff was down there. And yet they never dredged it out while it was dry. They left it alone. And now they build it back up. Now they have a good dam and overflow with it. They said they don't think they're going to have a problem with that anymore. So just keeping the water moving and at the levels what they adjusted, making people let that down.
I'll find the talking points that we have on that. But I
Just
know
to get
that,
something nice, I mean, there might be a lot of people that are curious.
Yeah, I mean-
On how decisions are made.
Yeah.
And why that's not being done.
yeah, so the hard part is that like, just like you all have a communication burden to get people to know about your events and things like that, we do talk about these things extensively. That doesn't mean that it reached you. You may have had something going on that year, we may not have come across the same communication tools, but we really do put a lot of that out. So what I'll do is, knowing that this is a one-off, I'll go and find that information and make sure that we get it back, because I know we have it. That will always be the hardest burden, is just the communication about the cool stuff we have going on, what we're doing, how we do it, everything like that. So, Yep.
We knew somebody in the news business that could help us out.
It matters. I'm just saying it matters. Communication matters.
It's everything.
Yep, it is.
It's easy to
The
criticize.
start and the end.
It's easy to criticize, you wonder why they're spending money on floodgates when, we used to do this, and so it's just educating the general public.
People see the money going in, and a lot of them don't understand why. I agree with what you're saying.
Well, I spent about 2 hours in the Harbor neighborhood this past week and learned a lot about that. And heard a lot of similar questions about putting money someplace and wondering where it's going.
Mhm. Did they talk to you about fixing their wall?
Sure did.
yeah, it's not fixable.
I know, not financially feasible, but yeah, they're concerned about that.
They should be. It's hazardous, but
You're on the other side of the fence, I can tell.
I just have done a lot of research about it
Oh,
already, so I don't need
They want
to.
their boat
I don't need to.
houses.
I'm already up to speed on it. I've been working on
They
it for a
want their
while.
boathouses. They
Yeah.
don't worry about the
Yeah.
safety. All right, if there's nothing else, I move that we adjourn the meeting. All in favor? If anybody says no, you're out of here.
You're out of here all the same.
Thank you all for coming
Thanks,
tonight.
George.